Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today, we're going to deal with jealousy. So be a friend and tell a friend, and I'll be right back after a few announcements. All right, see you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserved to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible...
Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace be unto you. How's everyone doing today? Happy Friday. Hope you got your coffee. I got me a nice hot cup here. It's good this morning, too. Sometimes when that brew just hits just right, it's one of those mornings for me. So, welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be live. I'm working out. Going back to our daily things so we can get back on track with our lives. So bear with me on that. I had this important subject that came to me that had just kind of been unfolding, and I thought, we got to do this Friday and Saturday. We're going to talk about jealousy. Okay. Before we do that, did you all get your Crystal Elijah hoodies? I can't wear it every day for y'all. Today I'm wearing Mind of an Entrepreneur. It's just kind of what I wear on the construction site. So I can't wear it every day for y'all. So y'all can't see it. Maybe I'll try to wear it maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But I'm on the construction site and it's a little dusty. So my pretty white sweatshirt, I really didn't want to wear it this morning. So when I get there, when I finish with you all, I'm just ready to go. Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. Let's just start. I want to say this. Jealousy is a big subject. Okay. So I'm not talking about, or I don't see us covering all aspects of jealousy. And some of us are pathologically jealous. And those people probably won't be able to be helped by these talks either. The idea is to raise the awareness around it and to focus on self. Because I think what happens is when we realize that someone is jealous of us, we focus on them. And so I think there's a lot of nuances of when we're jealous and when we're attracting jealousy to ourselves and when we're doing things based on jealousy that distort our ultimately our ability to manifest. So we're going to talk about that. If you've never been jealous of anybody, if you don't have jealousy in your heart, you've never had nobody jealous of you, then you can just click off because it's not for you either. Y'all know me, everything is based in love. Okay. It's based in love because when you learn how to love, when you learn how to love on deeper levels, that's when you learn how to tune in. That's when you access your spiritual gifts. That's when you start to live life with less stress. Okay. And love just doesn't mean that you let somebody walk over you. It doesn't mean that you don't put boundaries up. It doesn't mean that you don't heal. But through the trauma, excuse me, and through all that processes, you have to hold on to love. Excuse me. You have to hold on to love. If you let go of love, that's a whole nother psychology and psychosis that you're going to send yourself into. So let's talk about that this morning. Okay. All right. I have a definition up here. Let's just level set on what jealousy is. And I'm going to give you the answer at the beginning of the talk. So if you don't want to stay on, you want to just click off afterwards, you can do that too. Jealousy, resentment against a rival, okay? A person enjoying success or advantage, etc., or against another's success or advantage itself, mental uneasiness from suspicion or fear of rivalry, unfaithfulness, etc., as in love or aims vigilance and maintaining or guarding something. That's just a technical definition that has so much rambling up in it that it don't even make sense. And I put that up there so you all can see that when you start to study jealousy without the root of love of self, none of what they talk about makes any sense. I've looked at so many videos this week on the anatomy of jealousy and different aspects of it. And it's also technical because they're trying to deal with it without two things that I think are important. They're trying to deal with it without love, and they're trying to deal with it without the psychology, if you will, that has been placed inside of us because of the trauma of being here in this environment for almost 400 years. You know, not to mention Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch was a psychological process that was meant to help enhance slavery and to multiply the efforts of slavery for 400 years. Okay. But as my sister Nuseba said at Day of Atonement, the jig is up, Willie. So it's time for us to get around that. No more hating, the lights against the darks, the old against the young, the short against the tall. Willie Lynch mindset put us in a position where everything made us feel insecure, and we began to act off of it. So now, let's first talk about what happens. And this is going to be really key. So listen very, very close. Told you I'm going to tell y'all this at the beginning. Then we're going to expound on it. A lot of times, many of us are making moves, living our lives, doing things, and our whole motivation for what we do is because we're jealous of somebody. And we don't love ourselves, and we're missing cues. Now, I'm not talking about jealousy I'm not talking about male, your male-female relationship jealousy. We're going to set that one aside. We're talking about interpersonal jealousy that is preventing us from unifying and is slowing down the cracking of the atom, the unity, the pooling our resources, the doing for self, being brothers and sisters towards one another. This is what we're talking about. And let me tell you what happens a lot of times, and we miss it. We have a desire for something in our head. Okay, we may not have even expanded it to where it's real detailed. Okay, we just know we want to look good. We may not know what that looks like. Does it mean I need to lose weight? Does it mean I need to get my hair done? Does it mean I need to do my makeup? What does it mean? Right? We may just say, I want to be rich. We haven't thought about how we're going to get there. We don't have a plan. We just know this is what we want. And so when these desires come into our mind, the ego tells us to own that desire. And so we own it. We go, it's me. I want it. I want the money. I want the man. I want the woman. I want the clothes. I want the car. I want it. It's me. Or I want a certain level of excellence. Okay. But I'm not necessarily doing the work to open up that excellence within myself and to attract that excellence from others. But I want it. Okay. But I really want it without having to put in the work. But then God blesses us oftentimes. And Allah will send somebody around us who reminds us of maybe maybe how we should be doing better, maybe how we need to step up our game, maybe how we need to get our diet together, maybe how we need to put a plan together, maybe how we're stuck in a rut, but it just reminds us. And instead of that person motivating us, and instead of us being grateful for that person being used as an example, what we do, we flip it around because we don't love ourselves. We can't imagine that anything is for us, so we turn it into hate. And we get mad over little things because we're still trying to get the attention of some esoteric person out there that ain't paying attention to us. So anybody that comes around that threatens our security or our identity of ourselves, we get jealous of. It used to be back in the day that men didn't get jealous of women and women didn't get jealous of men. It was kind of gender specific. We went through that period for a while, but nowadays men be just as jealous of women and their success and vice versa. So, and again, it's still rooted in the Willie Lynch, but it used to be a little bit, it had gotten a little better for a minute, but now I think we're back to competing and being jealous of each other. So here's the thing. Let's say you and I see somebody who's doing really well. They're stringing together the right decisions and the right moves, and grace is following them, and they're doing really, really well. Or they just ratchet and they're doing well. But whatever it is, we're jealous because they're doing well. Have you ever thought about that maybe, just maybe, instead of turning that self-comparison into a trauma, a hate that causes you to move in one direction, have you thought about taking that emotion and making sure that that emotions drives you to further alignment with Allah, further submission? You can talk to me in the chat. Let me give you an example. Let's say your next door neighbor buys a new car, okay? And you decide that, and you just bought a car a year ago, but you see them with a car and you go out and you deplete your savings because, sorry, somebody was texting me. You deplete your savings because you want a car because you saw them with a car. Or you want them boots because you saw them with those boots. Or you want a house because you saw them with a house. Or you want new furniture because you saw their furniture. And it may be a space where God is saying to you, step your game up. I want you to have these things. I want you to be at that level. I want you to do that. In fact, about it, I put the desire inside of you so you're attracting that person and those people who are smarter than you and doing better than you, because I want to motivate you. I want to push you. I want you to learn. See, that's the best way to elevate, is to surround yourself with people who are doing better than you, or who are smarter than you, or who are more advanced than you, or who are doing different things than what it is that you're doing. And so sometimes you get those people around you because you're attracting it. You're just not yet attracting it to yourself. And God is giving you a chance to look at that and go, I do need to step my game up. I do need to dress better. I do need to drive better. I do need to live a little bit better. I do need to get my business together. You know what? I do need to. And so instead of taking that motivation and making decisions that are going to help you with self-improvement, we make decisions that help us circle the drain. So that person got a new house, we want a new house, we go kill ourselves to have a house better than theirs. And we're so busy trying to impress them. We have no idea what they're going through, what's going on in their life, where they are, nor do we even care where we are in life. We just want it because we want to stunt and we want to be better than the next person. And as soon as we get it, we can't wait to flaunt it in their faces. And a lot of times you move forward with that energy. And then when you're trying to do something, it falls flat. And it's like, well, wait a minute, what happened? Because the desire was just a call to action. It was just a call to action. Don't get mad at somebody. Here's another example. Don't get mad at somebody who has made certain sacrifices that you can't necessarily see, or maybe that they don't talk about. I go through this all the time. I just look like this. If you knew half the stuff I've been through, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm good. She can have all that stuff she got, because I ain't trying to go through that. If you only knew. But sometimes people go, no, but I want this. I want the spiritual gifts, or I want the financial stuff, or I want this, I want that. But there's struggle, and there's a striving, and there's a lot of work that goes with that. Yeah, there's grace there. Yes. But you talking about, and for me, I am very, very intentional, not only about my energy, about my thoughts, about my mind. Even before I leave the house, I'm calibrating to make sure that I'm drawing the right things to myself, that I'm thinking in a certain way. If I go somewhere, I'm presenting myself, in a certain way, because I want to have a certain impression. But there's a lot of thought that goes into, for me, striving to be in submission and in alignment. And I'm very, very protective of my spirit, of my faith, of myself, my life, my privacy. I'm very protective of it, because I don't want all these unnecessarily interferences, especially because I know how sensitive that I am. So sometimes you guys will say, hey, Sajdah, are you coming to this event? Are you going to come out and go here or there? And I'm like, And I'm not saying that that's perfect or that's the best way to be. It's just kind of a solution that I found for myself as I am in the midst of a creative manifestation that doesn't belong to me. And so protecting myself is very important. But I'm also very extroverted. So that's not, the way I normally am. I mean, if I wasn't when I'm not in the midst of something very deeply creative, I'm out there in the mix. But that's just kind of how my personality works. But to work on that jealousy and be honest with yourself. See, a lot of us can't unite. We can't pool our resources because we're so daggone jealous of one another. We just look at each other and find a difference. It's like we mine each other, find a difference, and we go, okay, I'm on top of that. And then we start adjusting behaviors. We start treating the person we're jealous of like they did something to us, and they don't know what your problem is. We start ruining potential relationships and people that Allah have sent in our lives, probably to help us with the mission that He put us on. But we're so jealous of them that we can't allow them to support, to help, nor can we translate those jealous feelings into emotions that are productive. Interesting, right? Very interesting. Let me see who we got in the chat here. I'm gonna give y'all a little time to stir that around, because we got to talk about this, because the jealousy is too nasty. And then I'm gonna tell you another thing. We get so jealous, and some of us are so caught up in dogma, like we're waiting on somebody else to tell us that it's okay to be cool with this person, or it's okay not to hate on them, or it's okay. We're waiting for somebody else to tell us, when we don't even know how to react out of our own feelings and our own emotions anymore. And so we make up stuff to justify our being so weak. It's just crazy. Okay, good morning, Mom. Happy Friday. I see you. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Zakia. Assalamu alaikum. She sends the greetings. Robert 11X Minor says Assalamu alaikum. Sister Nubia Latifa says happy Friday all. Welcome, sis. Sister Monica is here. She says Assalamu alaikum. Great Friday, family. Brother Robert 11X Minor says, I'm driving to Chicago and can't participate, but I'm in total agreement. I love the coffee talks. All praises due to Allah. DJ Uncle Phil says, I agree to be protected, and we need women to come out and vote. All right. So anyway, any questions, any comments about how to deal with jealousy? Let's talk about it. But I would suggest, and I've done this for myself as therapy, when we say the jig is up, Willie, I took the Willie Lynch letter and read it, and all the ways that he encouraged those slave owners, those business owners at that time to create differences among the slaves. I took each one of those and put intention behind making sure that I was not practicing those behaviors, that I wasn't discriminating against somebody because they were younger or older, that I wasn't the older sister jealous of the younger sister, and I wasn't the younger sister jealous of the older sister. Not, that's what happens when you get in the middle, right? You got people below you and above you. So I started unraveling that and making sure that I was intentional with my thoughts. And for a long time, I kept it in a notebook and read it so that I could be really, really clear that I was never practicing ageism, sexism, colorism, all of those isms that are embedded in that letter. That's how we make sure that the jig is up. And then within our organizations, understanding groupthink. Okay. Nobody can tell you how to think. Nobody can control you and control your gifts unless you allow them to control your gifts. Okay. Everybody is experiencing Earth in their own way. Okay. There's many versions of Earth. There's many people are out here. There's this many versions of Earth. So even when you see a person that's not right, then accept that that's where they are in their area of development. Understand if you need to put some boundaries around them, that's okay too. But instead of hating on them, just go, look, this is where they are right now, and leave them where they at. Figure out how to work around them, work through them, and keep it moving. But there's a quote that I'm getting to. And let me make sure. I hope I can get it right. If not, I'm paraphrasing. It's by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said, "Don't wait on someone else to do good. You do your part." And I felt like this was so appropriate a tie-in to jealousy and the jig being up for Willie and all of that, because when we get busy with self-improvement, and when you are so busy trying to keep your vibration in alignment, you will find less time for jealousy. Some people nurse negativity. Something negative happens and they will talk about it and flip it over 3-4 times, tell the story 8, 9, 10 different times and different ways, because they're mining the situation for what's wrong and for the differences. Some of us walk into a room and we're mining for the differences, spiritually mining, mentally mining, like mining for coal. We're mining for differences. When we find that difference, then that's why we don't like that person. That's why we're jealous of that person. Now we start acting on that jealousy. We start trying to prevent them from having opportunities. We start lying on them. We start gossiping about them. We start making up stuff in our head to further justify, okay? To further justify what's wrong with us, that allows us to support being jealous. And then pretty soon that jealousy turns into envy. And next thing you know, people are making moves to really hurt people. I'm talking about like unalive them, starting with jealousy. People are willing to walk away from relationships because they done made up so many lies about somebody, all because they're really just jealous. And a lot of times people say, well, I'm not jealous. I don't care about her. I don't care about him. Yes, you do. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be lying. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be making moves to stop that person from having what they deserve. Or even somebody may say, hey, you know what? I really like Sister Sajdah. And you might just make up something because you don't want them to really like me. And for me, what has always been interesting, the way Allah has done me in teaching me this, is that when I would be in those situations and people would lie on me, it would be something so far-fetched that it would almost be funny, and it would force me to look at it. Sister Diane Thomas is here. Good morning. Sister Monica, my point of view, striving to want for your brother, sister, what you want for yourself has to be intentional, mind and soul. But you know what about that, Sister Monica? People don't want good for themselves. That's true. You're right. If the person loves themselves and has accepted themselves and wants good for themselves. But if they don't want good for themselves, they can't possibly want good for you because they don't even like themselves. So that's the interesting piece. But let me tell you about how this is when Allah blesses you to dissect it a little better. The first time I remember a real act of jealousy, I think in the 7th grade. And when I was growing up, I didn't grow up in grammar school with boys calling me and coming over my house and all of that stuff. And I remember when I went to 7th grade, there was a girl, she was in the 8th or 9th grade. And she was telling everybody in the school that she wanted to fight me. And I didn't know why she, wanted to fight me. I didn't know what was up with that. And I didn't really want to fight. And I remember my stepbrother, Lil John, I think he told my dad, and dad was like, well, walk her home or something like that. They were talking about it, but I just remember like She can't possibly want to fight me. Like, what's she fighting me about? And come to find out, she was going with a football player who was in the ninth grade. Um, and that he told her that he had been coming over my house after school having hot chocolate. Now, first of all, my mother's in the chat. She would kill me if I had somebody coming over at 13, 14 years old having hot chocolate after school when she wasn't home. So that was hilarious to me. This before we got a teen line and could talk on the phone and all that. So this girl, and as it turns out, she was jealous of me because I used to dress real cute. My mom was always a dresser. If it was up to me, I would have been more like a hippie. But mom was a dresser, so I had cute clothes, like little satin jackets and leather jackets. And so she was jealous of my clothes. See, and I was a 12-year-old up there in the seventh grade with all these nice clothes and members only jackets and my little Jordache jeans and stuff. And I was cute, right? Anne Klein and all them little, little outfits and stuff, jean outfits. I remember I had this little Jabot jean outfit, all of that, right? She was jealous. So she wanted to fight me. And to justify wanting to fight me, she made up a lie and said that her boyfriend had been coming over my house having hot chocolate. First of all, it was like school had just started. Like that would have been quick. Second of all, it was so outrageous to me because I can't have boys over, nor can I have phone calls, and ain't nobody coming over my house. We don't have that kind of house. So it made me, I remember laying in the bed one night just unraveling jealousy. And I remember, and there's been a couple of incidents, and I'm going to tell you what happened with that one. There's been a couple incidents where something like that has happened where the person has made an extreme accusation. And I'm like, what? And it kept being a reminder to me, make sure you take competition out of your heart. Make sure you deal with any jealousy that you could be feeling. Forcing me to deal with it because when I saw how extreme these behaviors get and the extremes that people go through just in response to being jealous. So, I think the day that she was supposed to jump me, I think my father picked me up that day. And I think mom got a wind of it and was like, you gonna whoop her ass tomorrow at school. That's how this is going. Because we ain't got time to be adjusting no car rides and behaviors. You're gonna have to get this over with. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. And went to school. Sure enough, after school, I remember my stepbrother was walking with me. I remember I had this, I don't know if you guys remember the Boys and Girls Club. They had these plastic rings that you could make out of plastic with all these colors, right? And I had that on this finger. Now, mind you, I was a bookworm, and I'm still a bookworm, but I can scrap with the best of them. Okay, this before Vanguard training. Okay, so we got in the park in the snow, and needless to say, she got her ass whooped over making up a lie and making a move to show off in front of her friends that she was just jealous. And what it does is it helps me to see how we make moves in our lives. And in her case, she had to just take a beat down And I don't know if she was getting her ego involved, because I was kind of running from the situation at first. Um, I was not like, yeah, come on, let's go. What's up? I was just hearing about it. Somebody told me in the bathroom. Somebody told my stepbrother. Um, Lil John came and said something. I was just hearing about it, and I think it just boosted her ego. And how many times have we made a move and did something that wasn't successful or hurt us, all because we're responding to the fact that we're jealous of somebody else for whatever reason? Yeah, Nubia Latifa says the response is interesting too, because why are we always taught to respond like the young lady in cases? Yeah, we make moves like she made a move, and she was planning it, she was putting it together, but it didn't end well for her. How many times, if we sit down and take inventory of our lives, what are we doing that maybe we shouldn't be doing, but that we're doing in response to us being jealous of somebody else? As opposed to, okay, now we shouldn't be getting jealous over clothes and stuff. That was seventh grade stuff. But let's say somebody's doing really well in their business and we feel jealous. Let's say we got a real problem. So we start sabotaging that person's business. When all the while, and this is how I look at it. If I see somebody or something in business that I've learned, because see, I'm a consultant, so I see a lot of different business models and a lot of people doing really great things. I see some people doing not so great things, but I see a lot of people doing great things. And it's always motivation for me. I use it as motivation for me. If I see somebody and I say, man, you look great, you really lost weight, well, then that makes me feel motivated instead of flipping it into jealousy. Because what I also know, and this can't be one-sided, I know that you cannot tell Allah where to place his message, where to offer his grace, where to offer his mercy, who to bless, and what table to prepare for whom. You and I cannot control that. So it can't be one-sided. You can't say it when it comes to you, but then you over here trying to mess up somebody else's table because you jealous. It just don't work that way. So therefore, talking yourself down from jealousy should be relatively easily if you really understand how Allah works. If you're struggling with jealousy with somebody to the point where you can't talk to them, you can't be around them, you can't deal with them, then you really need to work on some things, because at the end of the day, what's for you is for you, what's for me is for me, and it really ain't nothing either one of us can do about it. Not really. As long as the victim or the person on the other end doesn't let you negotiate them out of their position of power. Because if God has grace and mercy on me and has prepared a table for me and given me a mission, just like he gave you a mission. See, we all showed up on the planet for a reason. And if I'm busy trying to figure out, and I'm like a busy little bee trying to figure out what I showed up here for and what I'm supposed to be doing, you can be doing the same thing. Because at the end of the day, no matter what I discover, you can't do anything about it. And as long as I don't let you affect my vibration, you can't stop the evolution of what I showed up on the planet to do, nor can I stop your evolution. Okay, let me see. I see y'all talking in the chat. Let me see what y'all saying here. Um Regional Sky Girl said, Mom said, you're going to have to go to school and yep her. Yes, ma'am. That's how that went. Sister Monica says, I was waiting for that. I had same situation in 5th grade. Dad said, if I come home one more time and you have handled that, yep, you can't come home. Yeah, that's how it goes, sis. All right, I see y'all. CDM says, ASA says, last night as we secured the palace and the museum, I noticed the people were in awe of the statue as they mindlessly searched for candy. It saddened me. We have a lot of work to do. Peace. We do have a lot of work to do, and we're going to do it. Because see, and we don't have to do all the work. It kind of ties into our conversation because if people are in awe of the statue, the cracked Adam statue that is now in front of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum, and they out there trick-or-treating, trust me, Allah created that statue. It's like art. Once you create it and put it out there, it's no longer yours. I don't care what you think. But because you can't control how people see it and interpret it. But it's out there. The idea came in, and everybody who has something to do with the statue, you can see the power of love and the power of Allah's idea coming through them for their different aspects and their different contributions to the development of the statue. Well, guess what? Anybody looking at it, even if they think they mindlessly looked at it and admired it, CDM, it's unlocking something. It's cracking open some atom in their mind. It's igniting something. It's churning their DNA, releasing something that is ancestral in them that maybe they don't know nothing about. So just seeing it, even if they don't understand it, even if they don't know it, I haven't even put the QR code up there where they can click and go learn about it because I'm still writing that little piece. Inshallah, I'll have that up this weekend. Even if they don't know, just seeing it is going to unlock something. It's going to unlock something. But here's the thing. Just like when we see certain things and we get jealous, if we see that thing and allow it to unlock whatever's inside of us that's laying dormant, there's a reason why we're interfacing with that person, place, or thing that we then misinterpret and then become jealous. I hope y'all hear me. It's a reason for that. And so instead of taking that energy and taking all of that and making it negative, take it and make it positive. You might feel those initial sparks of jealousy. You may feel like, man, oh my God, I'm jealous. And sit in that. Sit with that and be okay with that. And say, but, and this is what I do with feelings and energy like that. If it was something, it was me, I'd say, that made me a little jealous. And then I'm going to say, what is this observation? What is this feeling? What is this awareness here to teach me or show me? One step towards Allah, He comes at you flying. So I put the question out there and it comes back and starts showing me what I need to learn. Maybe it's motivation. Maybe it's what not to do. Maybe it's what to do. I don't know, or it may just be to uncover some flaw inside of myself that I need to work on. But it's not their fault that I'm jealous. It ain't my fault that you're jealous. It's not their fault that we're jealous. So the way that we don't tear down the community with these infantile emotions and our extreme reactions to these emotions, like the girl who had to get the beat down, just for being jealous of me over some leather jackets. Stop. Let's be more mature with our emotions. And let's say, I'm feeling something. Don't go talk about somebody just because you feel jealous of them. You may get on here on this podcast and go, you know what? I'm jealous of her because she got a podcast. I'm going to talk about her. I'm going to talk about this old scarf she got on her head. I'm going to talk about this Mind of an Entrepreneur sweatshirt. I'm going to just be negative. I'm going to just talk about anything. I'm going to talk about her delivery, how she talks, anything I know negative, and if I don't know some stuff, I'm gonna make it up. That's how you destroy relationships, because guess what? If you ended up on this podcast and you saw me and you had some kind of emotional reaction to seeing me on this podcast, that may very well mean that Allah wants our paths to intersect. Whether I'm an example for you, whether you're an example for me, whether we end up doing business together, or he just wants us to see each other and love each other, we're going to miss out on that unity and that love because you didn't lie, all because my earrings are cute. Is this helping? Let me know in the chat if this is helping anybody. Because we only got to start with ourselves. We can't do anything about that next person, but you can start with yourself. And I'm going to tell you something about me. I don't compete. I don't compete. I'm not going to look at you and try to compete against your business, your ride, your house, your nothing. Because everything I do and everything around me and everything that I'm working on is set up so that I can continue to find my way towards my own divinity. And I know that if I get distracted, chasing down, trying to be like you, now I've wasted so much time. I'm unsuccessful. And I won't be successful because I'm chasing down who you are and what you got and trying to be like you and act like you instead of accepting and owning and being myself. Let me know before we go, because we're going to go to part 2 on this tomorrow. Let me know if this is helping you. Let me know if you understand. If you got any additional questions, we got about 5 minutes left. And I just want to make sure that I'm really helping us to hone in how unproductive this type of mindset and behavior is. Because if somebody is good enough for you to be jealous of them, they're probably good enough to be of aid and assistance to you, if it's nothing else other than observation. But if you're observing them and in your mind, you're having this negative, jealous conversation, then it's let me say it this way. When I see people who are pathologically jealous and they come and try to get coaching from me, I already know that every aspect of their life is lackluster, from their health, from their finances, from their relationships, professionally. It's all going to be lackluster, low performance, low vibration, because they live in this low vibrational state of jealousy and comparison. But when do you get up and first, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, first love yourself, accept your own and be yourself? I'm going to tell you one more grace and blessing that I got growing up. In our family, so I grew up in the era where we got whoopings, okay? And we would get a whooping if we were followers. My mother could not and still cannot stand when a person doesn't speak up for themselves, when they would be following other people. I remember one time my cousin wanted to come over, and I didn't really want her to come over. And I remember going to my mom and I said, Mom, cousin wants to know, can she come over? And my mother didn't even turn around. She had her back to me. She said, do you want her to come over? Is it you asking or is her? We couldn't function like that growing up. So a belt to backside would go to you if you were being a follower. If you got in trouble doing something just because somebody else did it, you got a whooping not just because you did the thing, but because you did it just because somebody else did it. And that made it easy for me to train myself out of being a follower, being competitive. It made it easy, but we have to work on that. Don't compete, stay in a spiritual space. And when God brings people to you in your space and in your circle, instead of you wasting time being a fake two-faced friend or coworker or business partner, instead of you doing that, what you should do is say, okay, I know I'm on a journey. I know I showed up on the planet for a reason. I know I'm striving to take my life in a different level. What is this person here to teach me? They're going to teach me. I'm only going either going to see what to do, what not to do. Maybe they're going to just motivate me. There are people that you can meet, and just from meeting that person, they can motivate you into another dimension in your life. But you're going to miss it because you're jealous. I'm just saying. Let's see. Sister Aurelia said, I am loving the subject this morning. Jealous is low vibration. Yep. Love and Honor says, speak about physical attributes like how someone looks. Yeah. Okay. And thank you for keeping faithful to the history of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, past, present, and future. He is smiling along with Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yes, yes, I believe that. Yes, they are. I can feel them very often. Many of us are told our face body is not beautiful, so many sisters try to fit what is considered a standard. Yeah, but remember, Sister Nuseba told us during the Holy Day of Atonement that the jig is up, Willie. That's a Willie Litch thing. This body against that body. Part of the body image oftentimes and the look image is also not knowing your history. Because if you, let's say you built a certain way, but you learn that, I'm talking to sisters right now first, and you learn that Queen Makeba in West Africa was built like you. Or you learn that the Queen of Sheba or Mary Magdalene was built like you. If you saw them and could have an image of them, or maybe you go a little bit closer to, let's say you say, oh man, I look just like Lorraine Hansberry or Phyllis Wheatley or somebody that did something. You wouldn't be so ashamed of how you look because you wouldn't be looking to somebody else as your hero. Okay? You wouldn't be going through that if you understand history. That's why history is also very important, because we get to see images of ourselves. We get to see how people look. We see a lot of times, let's say we see our elders and we see they may look a certain way now, but I was looking at some Soul Train clips the other day. I said, look at this. This is somebody's great grandmother now. Somebody talked about physical attributes, and let me talk about that real quick before we go. We're going to go over a few minutes. And I'll dive more into this, but physical attributes oftentimes are a reaction to what is going on in our mind. So when that low vibration gets in our mind and we're pathologically insecure and pathologically and chronically jealous or chronically insecure or chronically low vibrational, and it just is a flow, and that's where we live, then every cell in our body starts to respond to that. So you see that in our facial expressions, you see it in the texture of our skin, you see it in our body habitus, you see it in the manifestations of diseases because low vibrational is like a petri dish for dis-ease. And this is why we got to get this jealousy up out of us. You know how many, when I started doing business consulting for Black people, because I did it for years for white people. When I started saying, nope, mind of an entrepreneur is for marginalized people around the world, we're going to bring in a new system, a new world order that is going to have different way of doing business. It's going to be rooted in policies and procedures that are rooting in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're going to help bring in a new system and a new world. This is going to be the unity of the diaspora. And all that start coming and talking to me. I started working on having Black clients. Do you know how many Black female and male clients couldn't work with me because they was too jealous of me? See, one thing I can say about the white people that I was consulting with oftentimes, and those that hire me as clients, they look at my resume and go, well, you know what? I don't care. I may not like Black people. I may not like women, but come on in here and give me some of that, what you got, and I'm going to pay you and you can get on up out of here. But Black people, we spend time being jealous, researching each other. And it's like, why can't you take that and be motivated? Do you know how valuable it is to just be able to listen to the stories of another fellow entrepreneur and what they've gone through and how they've overcome it? Do you know how many steps you can skip if you just stop being jealous? So we're going to pick up tomorrow with this. We're going to go jealousy part 2. I hope you will tune in tomorrow, 6 a.m. Use this, that QR code right there. And go out there and see. We got some products and things like that for sale. You can support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. We have the crystal sweatshirts. We got phone cases. We got caps. We got, of course, the coins. There's sponsorships. If you just want to support the network and just say, hey, I don't have a lot right now, I just want to support, you can go to Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, or you can Zelle us. I'm not saying you can only just do a little, but if you're saying I don't want any products, I just want to support, cash is always helpful. I'm coming towards the end of the year, and I mentioned to you before that I'll only be taking certain engagements. So some of the small coaching that I'm doing, we're going to be pivoting out of that. So if you want to get your coaching session in now, get it in now. Go to book.SajdahWendyMuhammad.com. Get it in. Okay, family. Love you all. And I will see you all, inshallah, tomorrow morning on the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talk. And it's Saturday. So, all right, we'll see you all. Peace and blessings. I hope you got something out of this. Share this with a friend. This is not meant to hurt anybody's feelings. This ain't even meant to bust you out. It's to love you into eradicating jealousy from your psyche so that you can stop impeding your progress, which means you got to love yourself. You got to work on your low self-esteem. Okay? You got to work on the lies. We got to go inside and work on this. Stop hating on somebody just because you think they're going to get more attention than you. And so tomorrow we're going to focus on being attention whores and how attention whoredom can create jealousy, which is, again, low vibrational and unproductive. All right. Peace and blessings, family. Love you all.